I was thinking we need a theme song
We should. I don't know.
because it just kind of comes on.
We should get one made. If you had okay, we could make it. Well, I'll let you. I'll let you introduce the show.
Okay, let's get into it. What's up, y'all? We back with another. What is this? Episode 12, probably 13. I
I
think it's
think 13. 13.
episode 13.
Get us with
What's
the
the word? We stream each and every week, every Wednesday at 1-ish till 3-ish right here on all your devices: YouTube, Twitch, um, Facebook, Twitter, everything but Instagram. I wish we could live stream on Instagram. Like we could just go live on Instagram. They need to make that happen.
They
Definitely need to.
really do. Just you know what? Like, cause I feel like our viewers would go up too because our reach is pretty good on Instagram. So
Yeah, or we should do like a after the stream episode 1 day a week on live, where we just go live with our people and just talk and let people come in and like give their opinions and stuff. That'd be cute.
that would be cute.
That'd be cute. Well, I'm here. Well, I'm Bree Specific here with my beautiful co-host, Miss Jayy Marie.
Hey, hey, hey.
Okay,
How
and
are
of course,
you?
we gotta kick it off by talking about our weekends. Me and Jayy Marie was actually together this weekend.
Yeah, we were. We did a good. You look, me and you together. We got to work together more because I have fun. We had a little. It was a nice little event about mental health and movie premiere about mental health specifically for Black and Brown men. I really learned a lot about mental health that weekend, and being able to talk with you and connect with you on more of a personal level, that was dope too. I had, I
Yeah,
had
I
a
feel like
great.
we hardly get to like talk, just like have regular talks.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we're getting better at that though. We be sending each other stuff on Instagram now. I love
Okay.
that.
You be sending me my reminders to do my shadow work.
Okay, for sure. But yeah, the film screening for Perdido was last Saturday. I was the red carpet host. So I did interviews with the cast and some of like the influential people that were there. Afterwards, they had a Q&A with the cast and also a panel with a lot of professional mental health doctors and people that just are in the community helping our Black and brown people, spread awareness about just taking care of yourself mentally and just what does that look like. And it was dope. I feel like I learned a couple things. I think a lot of people in the audience learned a lot about about mental health and how to like handle it and also how it also affects the people around you too. So that was dope. I did not participate in any Halloween festivities. We did have a Halloween party on Saturday. That was the same day, right?
Yeah, it was the same. And we grandma, so we was a little too tired to go, but
Okay, because after that screening, baby, I was tired. I was ready to get in my bed. I could not do it. I could not do it.
you know what though? A lot of people had some really good costumes.
Yes, I feel like people went. I don't think they went all. I feel like last year people had like everybody dressed up. This year was kind of like mm, little cute
Yeah,
costume.
that's how I felt too.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
too. It wasn't too extreme.
Did you dress up last year?
Last year I was. I think I did the norm. I think I was like Catwoman. I had on. Um, from what I remember, I think this was last year. I just had like a black leotard with some tights, some high boots, and I bought like the little ear headbands from like Party City, and that was it.
Well, look, you got to get creative with the costumes. I was Nicki Minaj last year for Halloween, and I feel like I really did a good job with it. I had the little Barbie chain and the wig. I just was mad I couldn't find a pink wig because I wanted to do like a cute little caption and but I did that. I wanted to be Selena this year, but it didn't happen.
So
So I
it
just,
didn't.
so I just took my kids trick or treating and let them dress up.
That was cute. What do
Mhm.
you take your kids trick or treating? I've been wondering that, like nowadays, like where do people take their children trick or treat?
Well, yesterday was really cold, so we went around my neighborhood, and then my mom had a Halloween party. So all of the kids from the family were there. Girl, the adults was there drinking, and the kids they had a little game. My mom did little games for them, so they really had a good time. I did too because I got to see my family, so it was cool.
That's cool. I don't have kids, so trick or treating is not in my schedule every year right now. I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I am.
because you know what? Let me tell you something. Them costumes are expensive. Like when I tell you arm and a leg for like I could really if I was like good at sewing, I feel like I could make these costumes. They
I think I would make my costumes. When I was in college, I would make costumes. Like I would go to Walmart and just like buy fabric. So I think for my kids, I'm gonna be like, yeah, you're gonna be George of the Jungle this year. Just put him in like some jungle fabric and let him walk around.
look, let me tell you something. Like I said, I spent $100 just on their costumes. Last year I think I spent more on their costumes. So look, if you can make it, I will make it. I wish I was that mom, but I'm just not that mom. Like I'm not that mom that's gonna like, oh, let me. It's too much. I just rather pay the
Those are
money.
for moms who have time. Like you making your kids costumes. Like you must be a
That's a
stay at
stay
home
at home mom for real. Those are stay at home mom things.
for sure. Some celebrity costumes I really liked was I loved Palmer and the little girl they did life size the
Hmm.
movie. When she was Tyra Banks and she had the little girl with her. That was cute.
Oh, that's cute.
Um, Ice Spice was adorable until her dress started riding up on stage. I feel like that wasn't her fault though. I feel like her team should have realized that that dress was gonna like look at it.
I feel like she knew that that was gonna happen though, and I think they did that for like shock value. They knew it was gonna go viral. Like, come on, this
She
girl.
has such a nice butt
She
though.
does.
Like
She really does. Her body is fire.
yes, she made me get. I literally went and did the stairs the next day because I was like, that's what her butt looked like. Like it's so cute. She has a cute butt.
She really does. No, the costume in general fit her so well. Like the just the little aura, like the sexy like vibe. She's so cute. I look. Let me tell you something. We seen worse on Halloween, so I don't even know why I was like people was talking about it. I'm like, the girls do this every year for Halloween.
They do, but it. I just felt like she just felt very uncomfortable because she kept having to like pull it
Yeah.
down when she was on stage.
Eventually, you see her. She's just like whatever. Like
At this point, just let it ride.
let it ride.
Halle Bailey and DDG, they were Tupac and Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson, Justice. They were also who else they do? Bobby and Whitney. They dropped Bobby and Whitney yesterday. I think it was super cute. I feel like they edited her photo so she don't look pregnant.
It's possible. I mean, but then like if you see other pictures of her, sometimes she looks pregnant and then sometimes she don't. So I mean, unless they took those pictures prior to, sometimes I've seen like celebrities be infamous for taking pictures and scheduling them so that way people don't know whatever, like it right when they're like maybe first find out. Um who I think it was Kylie Jenner. Kylie Jenner would do that. Like she when she's
Yeah,
pregnant, she'll take pictures prior to and post them. And I think celebrities do that, so who knows?
I think it was just AI.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, a lot of what though, a lot of the pictures, like who had a really good one, Sweetie. I don't know if you saw her. She did
Edward Scissorhands.
Edward Scissorhands, but she also copied. Remember the baby fat?
Oh, I saw that with
Yeah,
Corey's hands. That was cute.
that was really cute. Like one thing about Sweetie, she don't get enough credit for her creativity though,
We
because
gonna
she be
get
bringing
some good content out of Sweetie for sure.
it. Hmm.
we definitely get good content out of Sweetie each and every time. Kerry Washington was Shakari Richardson. I don't know if her name is Shakari or Shakari. I think it's Shakari.
I think oh well, I don't know, girl. Shakari
Shakari,
is the fastest runner.
yeah, the running girl. She be running, okay? She did a good job too. I wasn't expecting that. I really like that from her. I really,
Yeah.
really.
Look, I love one thing about me. I love good create. I love when the celebrities get creative with their costumes too, because I don't got the money to be putting together all these theatrics that they got, so I live vicariously through them.
No, I feel like I don't have the time to even think. I really, it'd be like October 1st, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna be this for Halloween. So I look up, it's October 28th, and I haven't
Mhm.
even ordered a costume. So I just be like, throw the whole holiday away.
I said next year I'm gonna be Cameron, and I gotta get the like. I want to do it all, like
Ah, that would be hilarious.
the flip phone, all of that. Like do a cute little outfit too with it, like cute little like maybe like skirt or something.
You have to get the pink
Cameron.
fur. That was, that was good. All in all, I think the celebrities had a great Halloween. Unfortunately, Chicago Halloween was a little bit messy. A little messy, a little unfortunate as well. Skinbone had a party. Skinbone is a famous, what do you call him, a YouTuber? No, an influencer, comedian, famous comedian across a couple of platforms. He had a party on the west side. It was actually up the street from my house. Unfortunately, there was a shooting at the party. Some guy got into a fight. They kicked him out the party. He came back, tried to get into the party. They told him no. And he fired shots inside the venue. 15 people were shot. Um, I don't think nobody died. Nobody died. 15 people were shot, though. This
Yeah.
happened on 13th and Pulaski early Saturday morning. Um, it really broke my heart to hear this because one, it was so close to my home.
Hmm.
Two, I just feel like the fun part of Chicago isn't what it used to be. Um, yeah, it just isn't what it used to be. Like we shouldn't have to feel like, you always gotta watch your back or you always have to have some type of gun or something on you just to
It's
go
so
outside.
crazy too, because it's like it's a Halloween party. Like people there drinking, having fun. Like people got families to go back to. You can't even enjoy yourself. Like that's why, like I always say, like a lot of the times I won't go to places where I don't like drinking around people I don't know. So you add in people drinking and just like you just never know what could come of it. I think I even saw one person on there that went to the party. He was already paralyzed from being shot before, and then he got shot again.
Yes.
That's like how traumatizing that is. You beat death once, and then another time, like that man got an angel over him. I'll say that much. But look, that's why I limit my me going out, especially on Halloween, because you just never know what's gonna happen.
And I also found it interesting that the guy, the shooter,
Mhm.
the suspect that I think he's in jail now. They arrested him. He's not even from Chicago. He's from Champaign. Like 49, 50 years. How are you even trying to go into a Halloween party in the first place?
Right. Like, what was you doing there with a whole bunch of young people
At 50 years in
and
the
50 years old? You know what though? A lot of the times, like, and we see this. I feel like I know we talk like things happen, but also like within mental health, like a lot of the times that stuff comes out when you are drinking. So if you aren't taking your medication or you're not diagnosed, a lot of the times like people will drink and their mental illness or their bipolar or whatever they're dealing with, it'll come out in the liquor, and then this is what we see. But that man had a gun, so like even in my mind I'm like, was you ready for, like, was you trying to, where was your spirit in that time? Your spirit was
I
moving
also
before that.
I've seen it the other way around too. Like I have people who take medication for their mental health, and depending on how far apart they take the medication versus whatever else they indulge in that day, like they may smoke weed or they may drink alcohol, a certain type of alcohol, or a certain type of wine that they may drink. It actually um I don't want to say combats, but it kind of have
Yeah.
an effect on your medication, and then you kind of just a little loopy, and maybe you seem like you get too drunk when it's like, no, I'm really not too drunk, but like it's alcohol is affecting my medication. I feel like people need to pay attention to things like that. On top of just in layman's terms, like men and their ego, just people
Yes,
in their ego in
yes.
general. Because there's no way that you were that angry that you felt like I'm about to go back into this party. And
Like, yeah,
some
that's what I want to know. Like, what necessarily, like, I understand that there was an altercation. I think he got overly drunk, got kicked out for, but just even the whole aspect of like, what made that worth it? Like, I'm gonna go back. I don't know these people. Like, and then thinking you was gonna get away with that too. All them people, like, he was not thinking for sure.
because even in a police report, the police were called when the fight happened, when he got kicked out. So by the time he came back to shoot the party, the police had pulled up in the middle of him shooting
Wow.
because they were already on their way to the party.
So look, you know what? I don't know. It's just, and it's hard too because like when you throw parties like that, you can't screen people. Like you could check for weapons, but you really can't screen people's mental health and where they're at when this is like when they're entering into the party. So it's like you can't even, like, sometimes you can maybe tell, but even look, it's crazy. People are crazy. People are crazy.
Yeah, even for event planners, I feel is sometimes we don't really take account into the severity of what it means to have security at your event. Because
Yes.
yeah, my cut like I know my uncles and them used to throw events, so they'll hire like my daddy and them to come do security. But
No,
like my
you
daddy
need
and them
like
probably
real
yeah,
security.
like my daddy and them probably won't be armed, but they look like they security. They got security shirts on. Sometimes people won't try them, but also if you're really not trained in being a security guard, like an official certified security guard, there's an easy what 9 out of 10 chance that somebody can walk past you with a gun and
You're
between
not
their
even
legs.
realize it. Yep. I agree with you. That's why they was talking about how like rappers, they be hiring they homies to be their security, and people are like, you gotta hire real security guards because that's how a lot of them, unfortunately, get in situations because they hiring their homies. Their homies is smoking, drinking while they rolling with. You can't do that.
No, you can't. But I also commend Skin Bone though. He did get on live and have a little 1-2 to say and address the whole situation. He did call out dude that recorded people on the floor being shot. And I appreciate that too because as a grown man, why in the midst of a
Right.
tragedy, why is it your first man to take out your phone and record people bleeding out in the middle of a party?
Right. Not even knowing too, like, cause you don't know the severity of how, like, what's going on with their injuries. Like that to me is crazy. Cause I'm like, people got families, people got kids, and that's your first instinct is no respect, no moral boundaries, moral code whatsoever. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like, get some help. If you cool, help in some type of way, or like at
Like,
least
is you
clear the
cool?
area. You said what?
Talking about is you cool?
Right,
For
like,
real.
is you cool? Like, can I get you something, like something? Like, I don't
People morals are really shot. Like it really doesn't make sense that was your first thing. Like your first mouth, oh let me go live and record all these people bleeding out on the floor. Bro, what?
know. And that's
Insane.
that's why like a lot of us are so like, stuff like that floats around the internet so much, and it's to the point where like people are desensitized from seeing it because they see it so much, but we don't realize that even with us seeing it, even though we are not experiencing it firsthand, there's still some type, it still affects us mentally in some type of way. And people just, I don't know, that it makes me wonder too, the people that are filming, are y'all that desensitized from like violence that it doesn't bother you? Because like, I don't know, for me, I don't even think I could even function in that space. Like, my
I
mom
don't
wanted me to record.
yeah, I wouldn't want to record. I don't even like watching videos like that. Like even
Yeah,
going into the video of Omari Blaze and Mellow Bucks. I don't like watching videos of people fighting. I don't like watching videos of people getting shot, people dying. Like that's just not what that's just not my cup of tea. I just never been amused or felt like that's something that we had to look at. Do we have a video for that?
Um,
Well, oh no, we're not showing a video. We
no,
just
we're
told
not showing
private.
the video. The
Okay.
video was it was hard to watch though. Like I did see it. It was very hard to watch for several reasons. Here we are. We have two beautiful women who represent part of our city, and this is what we're talking about instead of us talking about them, working together, whatever. This is what we're talking about.
And it was everywhere. It was on No Jumper. It made it to like main blogs. I just hate that these girls had to end up like this. Like, it's okay for y'all to beef. It's normal for people to have beef. It's normal for people to disagree. It's normal for, it's life. You're gonna go through certain situations where you may feel like people wronged you because they're trying to do something better for themselves, and vice versa. Like, that person may feel like you wronged them because you was trying to do something better for yourself. However the situation played out, I don't think it should have gotten that far, only because of the history of those girls. I think that they should have been able to hop on the phone or like hop in person and be like, look, this is what it is. Let's talk about our differences and come to a consensus. But also, sometimes troll culture is real. When you going
Yeah.
back and forth on the internet with somebody and you calling out their mama and they calling out your mama, and like after a while,
Let's not forget the people that are in the background in your ear, in the comments, DMing you, all of that. Like it feeds into already that spirit that's inside. That's like, nah, I'm not gonna let nobody punk me, or whatever the case is, or talk about me. And then it just fuels everything even more.
yeah, because I do know it was a point. I do know Amari. I do feel like Amari made it clear that on her
Yeah.
part, she wanted to keep the beef in the music. But I also know that Mello made it clear on one of her lives that, you called that my mama. Now I feel like I have to throw
Mhm.
hands. So do
What do
you
you
feel like sometimes troll culture can go too far?
Absolutely. We see it a lot. I actually just recently did a piece about females in hip hop. It's coming out soon. I'll let y'all know on Southside Weekly newspaper, little plug. But the one of the things that I was researching is like the beef when it comes to female rappers. And what I will say is that when I did the research, a lot of it is based off of people trolling, fans trolling, fan bases trolling each other, or talking about, the said artist and the other artist. And then, within itself, both people trolling each other. But I just feel like this. Yes, words are, very powerful, but at the same time, it just says, for me, it says a lot about you when it comes to how you're able to control yourself. Talk about my mama all day. That, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of like crossing the line, but at the same time, I feel like when you have a platform and when you have a career and you're reaching for something more, why you couldn't go in the studio and just kill it in the studio? That's my thing. Like, take whatever aggression that you got, because you know that this could possibly affect you and your career and your future. Take that and move it somewhere else. I understand that egos get involved, but at some point, like, you got to think further than just right now in your present, whatever's going on presently.
See me, I just know where I come from. It's like you talking about my mama, and you know my
I
mama.
get it. I get it.
We're throwing hands, okay? Period.
I
I
get it.
I will say I do appreciate the fact that they were able to fight it out opposed to escalating to evil.
Yeah. No, I get that. Like I said, I understand, but at the same time, I felt like that wasn't even the time or place to do that.
No, for sure.
Where that was at, like, if y'all gonna fight this,
I would have rather them just fought like privately. Nobody
yeah.
knew about it, and
Well,
then do your
look,
big one and move on.
that
Cause
that still would have hit the internet. But let me ask you something, because I saw it was very interesting in the comments. People were, when we had posted it, people were saying like they were questioning our integrity as a platform, saying like no shade, no tea. That's our motto, no shade, no tea. But then they were also feeling like we fueled this a little bit by having a Marion, or just us posting the what actually happened. What do you say to people who feel that way?
I feel like no shade, no tea, but also we have to report what's going on in Chicago. And if we can report that from, I would say, like the horse's mouth, or the subject involved, I would rather us let that person talk and get their words out and have our audience react to their words, opposed to like us saying, "Oh, we think this happened," or "This is how it should have went." Because no, like what we're doing is reporting the culture. We're not making up analogies. We're not
Right.
coming up with conspiracies, which we probably do every once in a while. But when it comes to like Chicago, and we're in touch with the streets and what's going on in the culture, and we can get those people on here to talk about it, I think it not only helps um, our audience to better understand what was going on, but it helps the subject to be able to get their truth across. So I don't think us bringing Amari on was an issue. I do feel like certain other platforms take a lot of people that are in the Chicago culture, especially in music, and they objectify them in negative ways. They just use it for clout. Like we didn't do it for clout. If that was the case, we
That's
would
the
have
thing
said,
that bothers me though, is like, are y'all checking these other blogs who literally like we seen it with academics, we seen it with No Jumper, we see it with these platforms that first of all don't even have direct ties to Chicago talking about our culture, but then at the same time, we got these same people who follow them blogs calling us out. And we from Chicago. So I think it's very interesting the when people pick and choose who they're going to hold accountable for certain things.
no, for sure. I just thought we, and plus, us being in Chicago, people feel like they're closest to us. They feel like they can touch us. They feel like they see us outside. So when they feel like they have some type of deeper connection to you as a platform, they want their voices to be heard. So some of the comments I don't even pay attention to, but I did see that comment, and it did have me kind of thinking like, dang, were we wrong for bringing her on? But no, like if we can get the source on the platform to tell their truth, why not do that?
I think the only thing that I think we could have did, which I don't know, like schedule wise, I don't know if that would have even been able to happen, is have both ladies like separately on, just so that it's fair in people telling their story. But
I would.
aside from that, look, we got to report on what we got to report on, and y'all may not like some of the things that we say, but it's what it is.
Time out. Uh, we gonna
I'll
take
tell
this
you.
real. We gonna take a real quick break with y'all know we gotta bring Boss Tech in a boot camp commercial up. So we
Yeah.
got a special guest coming in. I'm excited for y'all to see her, and we gonna talk to her about some things. So yeah, let's take this break real quick. Oh, we don't have a Boss Tech commercial. What? My heart. I look forward to those commercials. Okay, well we can just bring in our guests and get into some things. We can still talk about she can chime in on our topics for this week. Oh, okay. Hey girl. So we bring it in Miss Hannah Hall. Y'all may know her from The Shy. I recently did a red carpet hosting for Perdido, which is a film based off black men and their mental health and how their mental health affects everybody around them. So Hannah, is she in? I thought she was in. Maybe we gotta bring her back in. Can you hear me? And Jayy Marie is gone too. Trita, I cannot hear you.
Wait, how do you unmute it?
Oh, I can hear you now.
You can hear me now.
It's just talking about how do you unmute it?
Cause I'm like, you know what? I just had my earpieces in, and then it just disconnected, and then it said you're disconnected. I was like, dang, I was just about to be.
I'm
Yeah.
hollering. Hey girl, hey.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I have another host, Jayy Marie. I think she clicked off for a minute, but she'll be back.
Okay,
How are you today?
I'm good. Busy, but that's always a good thing. Chicago is cold as heck, so
Girl,
that shifts the mood. But we
definitely
here.
blew, definitely blew me with this weather because I did not know it was gonna snow as much as it did yesterday.
Oh my God. I think the whole city didn't know it was gonna sound like that. They said flurries. That was more than flurries.
I was coming out of work. It started hailing, like legit hell was coming from the sky. I'm like, this is way too much. This is way too much. We're gonna try to get Jayy Marie back on here. So so we just gonna have you, chime in on a couple of our lifestyle topics, trending topics that we talking about for today. But it was so good to see you Saturday at the Perdido film screening.
You too, likewise. And thank you for having me here today. So I appreciate you.
No problem, no problem. So I got to host the red carpet, of course, and we got to talk about the film a little bit on top of watching the film with the audience. So I believe that was your first time seeing the film since you guys produced it,
Filmed it.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what was your initial reaction?
If I'm being honest, it's very triggering. I thought the performances were beautiful. The way the story was told was very beautiful. But it is one of those films that touches you in a bit, which is not a bad thing. I think that's what storytelling is all about. You want to get a reaction, or you want to get some sort of effect that can, lead to some sort of change, whether it's good or whatever. So that was mine.
Yeah, that's how I felt initially watching it because I watched it more than once when I was able to see it. And I was triggered by different things each time I watched it. But I think sometimes I won't say triggering is helpful, but triggering definitely broadens your awareness of like things that you feel like you have to work through or things that you may need to seek help on. Speaking of seeking help, Kodak Black and Ray J got into a little scuffle over the internet this week because Kodak Black did a Drink Champs interview, which was like 2 hours and 30 minutes long. I was kind of mad I watched the whole thing because I can't understand half of the things that Kodak Black says. But after the interview, a lot of fans were kind of like, "Are we showing the video?" Hold on, I think we're showing the video.
Said I could have played relationships better with Carisha.
Fuck that, y'all take a quadruple shot.
No.
On you. I'm back, That boy Ross had showed me some shit one time, you know what I'm saying? Snatching all food from the table. Big boy and T.I. tried to get me kicked up off the label. Kanye, like, I felt like I could be his mentor or something.
OGB.
Drake just got a certain, like, a little effect that he do to motherfuckers and shit. I don't like how a lot of trying to stay crazy. Yo, call that, it was so you did a song with 6ix9ine, bro. Yeah, then you see it, ain't it? Bro, like, who made this nigga governor up there? Like, you could just, like, you got the answer, you the spokesperson for this shit, and you feel like, how the fuck could you try to dismember me from the real nigga club?
Kodak! Want some champagne or y'all?
I just feel like Kodak was drunk, but a lot of his audience was a little concerned about his mental health. They were saying that maybe he's doing the wrong type of drugs, maybe he's drinking a little too much. Is it the responsibility for the podcast host to say, "Hey, we think you're a little too intoxicated. Take away some of the liquor," because it did seem like they were continuing to let him indulge. I don't think he was the drunkest one at the table. I think somebody else was the most lit at the table, but Ray J decided to call him out and bring up that Kodak was not only acting a fool on Drink Champs, but when they went to the White House, Kodak was actually acting a fool and they was trying to kick him out. Kodak responded and said that him and Ray J could fight. Personally, I think that Ray J didn't have to go on the internet and call out Kodak because I think that just kind of adds fuel to the fire, especially since we're already on the subject of talking about mental health. So if you want to chime in, Hannah, do you feel like, especially being in entertainment, do you think that it's the responsibility for like us as hosts when we bring like celebrities and actors and actresses onto different platforms? Do you think that it's the responsibility of us to be able to say, "Hey, we think you indulged in a little too much"? Because we saw it happen with Brittany Renner a couple months ago as well. She was a little too lit at a podcast, and the males there didn't let her stop doing what she was doing. So do you think it's our responsibility? Do you feel like it's the responsibility of the person that's the guest on the podcast to say, "Hey, I think I drank a little bit too much. Maybe I should stop"? I can't hear anything.
Yeah, neither can I.
Hold on. She's unmuted. Why can't I hear?
I can't hear her either.
Child. Okay. Feel like I can hear the producer, but I can't hear anybody else.
You can't hear me, Bree?
Oh yeah, I can hear you. I just can't hear Hannah now. Okay, she muted now.
Well, I think platforms do have a responsibility, Bree, but I also feel like um they're gonna go for whatever has views, right? So can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry.
They're gonna go for whatever has views. So if they're gonna get their guests more litty so that they could get better answers, and that's what they're gonna do. I mean, you go on a show like Drink Champs. I mean, what you expect to happen?
I feel like I don't like that because it's gonna be okay for everybody to get drunk as hell until somebody pass out and get alcohol poisoning.
No,
Wait, Hannah, are you connected through your headphones? Maybe that's it.
she said she just put them in.
Also, you can hear her. I just can't hear her.
I can't hear her. I'm reading her lips.
Oh, I can't hear her at all. Treat it.
Okay, so what, Bree? How do you feel about the situation?
I just feel like yes. Let's bring Hannah back real quick. Um, so on the Kodak Black situation, I feel like Ray J should not have brought Kodak's business on the internet. Like if he acted a fool at the White House and we didn't know, it should have stayed there. That was not Ray J's place. If you wanted, I feel like if you want to help somebody, don't publicly do it. Like hit them up on the side if you got their number. And then he tried to call out Whack 100. I don't think that is. I think the culture knows it's not healthy to call out Whack 100 to come
Right.
help when people need help. Whack is like the last person you should be calling when it comes to help. Whack is really just here for brand awareness and to elevate whatever else he has going on. So yeah, I think it definitely added fuel to the fire. And when I watched the interview, like I said, I never really can understand Kodak Black, so that's why I really don't watch Kodak Black interviews. But when I did watch the interview, he was not the most lit at the table. It was a whole nother guy, another Haitian guy, I forgot his name, that was there by DJ EFN, DJ FN, and um, he was like overly lit. Like they should have took his drink out of his hand. I don't think Kodak was that lit. I think Kodak was literally just being Kodak.
I was gonna say it sounded like stuff that he already saying when he's sober. Like
he called out T.I., he called out Lil Boosie, he called out Rick Ross, but that's because he felt like they personally did something to him. I feel like he can be able to speak his truth.
what? Okay, so let me ask you. You just said that Ray J shouldn't have called him out. If you want to get people help, but within that, do you feel like then that same accountability should be on Kodak's side, not necessarily because he's calling someone out. Yes, he's speaking his truth, but at what point do we take private things that have happened privately and not expose them to the world?
I think well, Ray J was giving third party vibes. That's why I feel like he should not have said nothing. I think Kodak.
Yeah.
Yes, girl.
Oh,
Look at God.
I'm finally a part of the conversation sitting at the table. So
Okay.
Hey.
I am so sorry. I don't know what's happening, but to go back to what you was the initial question, I love Drink Champs, and I know that's the tone and the setting of Drink Champs to, drink and indulge in other things. But I do think precautions need to be taken for the protection of the host and its guests. Because the reality of, when you overconsume something, that it can alter your everything, your behavior, and just for protection purposes and legal purposes, because that obviously leads to bigger issues. So it would
Exactly.
just be wise for him to take precaution and say, hey, maybe you should not, like it's ways you can go around. It's not what you say, it's how you say it, especially, when you're dealing with grown folks. People are going to want to do what they want to do regardless. But maybe, let's not keep offering, because that, they do that on Drink Champs. Let's take a shot for this, or let's do this and that. I think Ray J, the concern from his fans and Ray J, that's real. And if you are concerned about his well-being and you think there's something else happening, I think, that just shows how much people love him. Now, me personally, I just feel like that should have been something he reached out directly and said, like, hey, are you good? I just want to check on you. Because when you really care about people, you come straight to them. Like, I want to know what your well-being is, because I care about you, not about what anyone else got to say or starting a conversation, but about you.
You don't feel like though that's why people have publicists on site when they do these type of events to like, oh hey, you had too much to drink. My client needs to take a break. We need to get some water. That's where a publicist is supposed to be at play. I think when it comes to hosts, I don't feel like that should be their responsibility, especially given the type of platform it is. Now I'm sure they probably signed some type of release before they even enter the space to do the interview, I would assume. But I don't know. I feel like it's not depending on the platform, it ain't their responsibility. They know what they walking into when they do the interview. It's up to them to bring their publicists, it's up to them to bring their managers that are supposed to watch out for them in these cases, that they don't make a mistake or they don't say something they're not supposed to. That
Because
would
I
be
know I've
I
done
respect
interviews.
that. Go
Yeah, I've
ahead.
done interviews where people, like the managers, would be like, okay, don't drink during the interview, or you can't, light your blunt in here during the interview. Like they take precaution of those things. But like you said, Hannah, it is drink champs. That is the nature. I think it'll be a good safety net on like the host of podcasts where you know that you're
Exactly.
indulgent in drinking, where it's like, okay, well, maybe if we see that they're drinking a little bit too much, maybe put like apple juice or something and they drink, opposed to giving them a straight shot. Just to like safety include, because and then you never know people's tolerances. Like people can pass out, people can get sick. People, like we were talking about earlier, some people take medication for like mental health and things like that, so their medication can come into effect, and if they overindulge, it really can have some side effects on them, and then next thing you know,
Exactly.
a lawsuit. So
I think all of our point of views are valid.
yeah.
I get what you're saying too. Like it should be, and that goes back to taking proper precaution. Like if you feel like this is, we all know what the setting is of Drink Champs. So make sure there's someone in attendance that can kind of mediate or intervene if things get out of hand. But in the case that something does occur that gets out of hand, that them fingers gonna get pointed.
okay.
And that's where the issue is. So is I think, me personally, it's just wise to kind of create restrictions from the beginning to avoid that versus something happening and then now you got to create new regulations.
Let me ask you, do you feel like maybe given like something like a drink champ, should there even be maybe you prior to the actual interview, you limit, they don't maybe drink so much. Maybe there has to be something, maybe at that point they have to set a standard within that, company to say, hey, we're not going to overdo it because we've seen what happens when it gets overdone. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, that pretty much is the point. Like what I was saying, like they need to have limitations. I just think that's wise. Yeah, we this is what we want to do. I think that's great if he want to have a setting where it's like we have this conversation and we kind of having a drink and we giving you your flowers and giving you a shot, taking shots to you and celebrating you. I think that's great. But maybe let's not do this, because Drink Champs, they'll say, "Come on, bring another one, bring
Okay,
another
Bree.
one,"
Yeah, they
because
definitely do.
Yeah. So and look, I respect. I love Drink Champs. I watch it. I'm gonna be honest with you. So I love it. But the reality is, people when you indulging, people can overconsume, and it can be a bigger issue in the end.
For sure. And another situation that happened this week where I feel like we probably need to build a safety net is Casa Nat is doing 7 days live streaming from jail with a couple other big influencers like Drewski, NLE Choppa, Krishan Rock. So they are really living inside of someone's jail. I personally, I don't think it's a real jail. I'm still doing my research.
Oh my God. Oh yeah. Cause I ain't gonna care. Like if you get hit.
So in that video, there's a video Drewski walks into the jail and like everybody is like bomb rushing him, like jumping on him. The security guard is trying to stop it and things like that. So the question that's been going around on social media is, do you think that this is giving like a negative um connotation to like the younger generation or like the up and coming streamers and like the people, that generation that is Casanet's demographic? Do you think that is giving them the wrong signs of like what jail is like? Because I've heard a couple people on platforms say, "Hey, jail wasn't that bad. Like jail was pretty fun for me. I didn't have to do nothing. I got 3 meals a day. I kicked it. I didn't get into any fights, whatever." But also, I feel like in a climate where we have a lot of younger people that are committing crimes, they robbing people, they kidnapping people, they're robbing cars, they're taking Hondas and they cars and things like that. Do you think that is giving a bad notion on like, oh well, jail isn't really that bad?
Um, I think that on one hand, I think it's funny. On one hand, I feel like because like for content purposes, it's funny. You kind of want to see, whatever. But on the other hand, yeah, I do think that kids are impressionable. So I feel like, you know, but I mean, it goes back to, I feel like in general, creators have a responsibility to have some type of, to be mindful of certain things because kids are watching. I think that this whole idea that, oh, I'm not a role model, I'm a celebrity, or I'm a influencer. Like your name is literally influencer. So yes, you have some type of influence on how these kids, perceive things. And it is responsible. Like it is irresponsible a little bit. I thought it was really funny. Just how they decided to put this together or even what made them. But I do think that they do have some type of responsibility.
I think they should do some type of disclaimers like every 10 minutes, like, hey kids, jail is not fun. You really don't want to be here. This is all for kicks and giggles.
Mm-hmm.
Because
You
I'm like,
remember, like, you remember back in the day, like the 90s and 2000s sitcoms, they used to have like those disclaimers. Like I remember watching Wayne's Brothers and like they had a episode where dude was like smoking weed and they put a disclaimer at the end or hey kids, don't smoke weed. So I mean, maybe a disclaimer, but at the same time, like these parents still need to watch their kids because look, YouTube and all of these influencers, it be a little bit much.
I agree. I don't know. It's something that I think it's the auntie in me. I'm not that old, y'all, but like something, the auntie in me was just like, why are they playing in jail? Stop playing
Did
about
you
jail.
see? Look, we had
So
stories.
okay, from what I understand, they're live streaming from jail. Well,
Mhm.
a setting that looks like jail, and they got guests coming out because I went out again, so I didn't hear what everything
Yeah,
that was
so they're
happening.
live streaming from jail. They have like Drewski comes in one day. Offset was supposed to come in, but he canceled like the day of. Krishan Rock was in there, NLE Chopper was in there, and they have these little settings where like they in like the community part of jail where people are trying to fight them and like trying to, get them like talking to them like You know how it
So
is,
what's
jail
the
talk.
conversation like? What are people talking about?
It
Like what?
seems scripted. So when NLE Chopper was in there, he had this whole monologue about how he didn't want to participate in jail sex. And somebody talked to him about having jail sex. And he was like, no, I'm a grown man. They will never do that to me. And then it was very like he was trying to get emotional. And then the next day, Krishan Rock comes in and one of her fans, I guess they sent her a book in jail. And
Mhm.
as Casanat is reading the book, she just like bawls, like she's just
That
crying,
girl
like
was
tears.
crying on cue though.
She cries every day.
Cries on cue. Come on,
She's just
man. Like,
crying.
let's not do this.
I
And
think I think. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
it's very dramatic, but I do feel like there's that intertwine of like we want people to believe that we're really live streaming from jail. So in my head, I'm thinking of the audience. Like there is a sector of an audience that thinks that this may be real.
Yeah, the kids. Definitely the kids think it's real.
And
Okay, I guess
that's my
I
issue.
don't quite understand the objective of doing it, but the fact that it may be entertaining,
Yeah,
like,
I don't think nobody understands why they did it.
got you. And I mean, he has a very hefty platform, so keeping his platform engaged. I don't know. I now y'all making me want to go watch it. I think I saw a clip about it because I think I saw the Krishan clip. And then I think I saw the clip with a reaction to like I don't know, girl. I look clearly y'all know how I am on social
You
media.
should go back and watch it. I only watched a little bit of Krishan's because I really was trying to figure out why did this girl start crying again. Like
What
she
Jay
kept
say?
in jail is
The girl
crazy.
cry on cue.
I do like Krishan though, y'all, but yeah.
You know what I feel like they should have did if they were gonna do something like this? I feel like they should have raised some type of money for like prison reform or something to give it some
Mhm.
type of meaning if you're gonna do something funny like this. Because the
Yeah.
reality is there are so many people in prison that are being affected that are wrongfully in there. That people who are fighting cases they may need lawyers. There could have been some type of like community in that, and that I think would have brought more viewership, and I think it would have like it would have just been better like to balance that because it is.
Yeah.
And now that I'm thinking about it too, it's like okay, it's content. It's also very a little insensitive to the people that are actually in there and don't want to be in there.
Yeah. That's why I said what's the objective? Like if it's something like that where they're trying to bring some sort of balance to why we're doing this, like this is the meaning, this is the objective behind this is the message, or even understanding, because I'm a look, I'm confused. Like, why is he doing this? Like, is it just for entertainment? Because what it seems like is just for entertainment
Yeah, it is.
purposes.
Yeah, it's just for entertainment. He does challenges like this. Like I know a couple months ago he did like 30 days. He streamed for 24 hours straight every day. For
Okay.
30 days, and it kind of lifted his status, and he's like the top streamer in the world right now because of
Mm.
that. But I like that part, like you giving it a balance, give it some type of objective as to why we're doing what we're doing. Opposed to hey, let's just do another challenge, because I know people were trying to figure out why Offset canceled at the last minute, and a lot of his fans were saying, well, maybe maybe he might didn't want to get triggered by going back to jail because he's probably the only guest that actually been in jail before in real life. So why do he want to go back to jail and play like he's in jail? Like that could be
Yeah.
triggering for him.
It does
That's
kind of
why
look a
he
little
canceled.
lame too, like when you think about it.
Yeah,
Like, especially for Offset's older. He's not like a young kid,
he's too old
so
to be playing jail with these little kids.
yeah. I
Okay.
give him
I
a
get it.
For sure. And I feel like that could be triggering too if you actually been in jail and didn't have like the best experience, depending on how long you were in there or what type of jail you were in. You don't want to go back and fake like you in jail.
Yeah. Like you said, Jay, it's insensitive to
Yeah.
some folks. You never know how people are going to receive things.
But
Speaking of
these influencers, these young influencers, I feel so old when I say that, but it's true.
Yeah, we didn't grow up with all of this. So,
No,
for
not
us,
at
that's what
all.
I'm trying to understand. Why is it happening? Like, what is the message behind it? But,
and that's what I was telling somebody yesterday. I said when I was growing up, we had jail shows were meant to scare you. We had
Right,
Big
scary.
Scare
Yeah.
Night.
Gary Maury, remember when you used to take the kids?
Yes, Maury
Or
used to take the kids and put them in that jail and let them people yell at them in their face. They used to scare the hell out of them kids.
Mhm. Yeah.
So now
y'all
y'all
want to
doing
know something funny about that Maury show? I actually went to school with a girl that went on there. She went on there and
Oh
got
my
like,
God.
yes, yes, they took her to the jail and everything. She was
did she
bad
come
in
back
real.
in person?
She was bad in real life though, so
Mm.
it's real a little bit.
Jeez, I couldn't never. That used to scare me. I never wanted to go to jail. Like watching that was like, yeah, nah, I'm cool. I'll do what I need to do.
When they
I
used
will
to
do
have
what I need.
the kids on there all young and having babies.
Yeah.
Okay, like first off, Maury is part of the culture. I love that. Moving on.
Sure.
Kim Kardashian, she linked a deal with the NBA, WNBA, and USA Basketball. She is now Skims. Her brand Skims is now the official partner, official underwear partner for the NBA. It was. I don't know why it was funny to me, but I think it was only funny because it was Kim Kardashian and Skims. But I think the basis of her whole brand was like influencer based anyway, so I think it made sense. I think it was just a shock to people that she just woke up one day and everybody was like, "Oh dang!" Like she's providing all the underwear for the NBA as well. Well, my question is, do you feel like it's off brand for Kim Kardashian to be working with the NBA?
No.
I don't. I think it's marketable. I think it's a good decision, a good business deal. To be honest with you, I don't own Skims, but I heard it's a great line, and
Yeah,
if that when you got great products, you get great business. So I shout out to her for closing a deal like that. That's a big deal. Um, but I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. She's closed deals before in the past that has kind of perplexed us, but it's a smart thing. She's not being foolish. She's doing good business and underlining anything that she started from. We all start from somewhere. Just because she started as just an
Started from the
influencer,
bottom now, yeah.
yeah, I'm all about a woman that's hustling and doing big deals. So,
I mean, look, I have Skims and I'm telling you the shapewear is amazing.
mm,
But what I will say is I think that it's not surprising at all. It's very
hmm
on brand for her. I think that she has done an amazing job at building this brand, but building her like being able to capitalize off of her name and then now moving into the sector of like being a true businesswoman. She did the Dolce and Gabbana collaboration, Skims Dolce and Gabbana collaboration. So if she could get Dolce and Gabbana, she could get the NBA. So I think that it's dope to see. I mean, it's a woman making moves. You never want to encourage women to be able to do whatever they want to do. So being able to do that and show other women that they can do that is great.
hmm
So I think it's very on brand for her.
I love it.
absolutely.
I love it. I feel like people just give her slack because she's Kim
Yeah,
Kardashian, and
of course.
people feel like she get everything so easily, but I feel like this is something that we weren't expected. So it was kind of given like she kind of worked for this. Like she did what she had to do to make sure that her brand was a part of a global athletic, organization. And I appreciate that, especially coming from a woman, because once these teams win, they win the championships and they win like World Series and things like that, they get branded by like State Farm and they get branded by Subway and Burger King and things like that. So I think to be branded by a woman owned company is amazing.
And I also think that my prediction is that they also are going to come out with stuff for people to wear and like for the fans to wear, like a
hmm
collaboration between the NBA, whether it's like they bringing back jersey. I don't know if they're going to bring back jersey dresses, but I can
Plus,
see
Kim's jersey dress is
I can
will
see
be.
them doing something where they do some type of partnership and sell some clothes, okay? And I'm here for it because they could make a jersey dress with some shapewear under it, baby. I'm wearing it.
Oh my God. Yeah,
Shape Like
I
Magic
think
will
that's
send me here
good
to
that
say.
what she's doing for sure. I respect it.
Also, she just announced that she'll be dropping a built-in nipple bra. I don't know if y'all seen the commercial. We don't have a commercial. So she has this commercial where she has on her skims and she has this bra on and
I thought
she's
that
like,
was like a parody or
I
like
thought it was like a fake commercial for Halloween. No, she's real life dropping
child.
bras that have built-in nipples, and I do not see the purpose. That's just me.
Yeah,
But I
the
just want to see
reality is she's still gonna sell.
what y'all.
So like it may not sell like her other products, but she's still gonna sell. And I mean, whether it's a joke or not, it's gonna sell.
I mean, I think that on one hand, I personally wouldn't buy it, but it maybe if you're
Me neither.
somebody they were saying I was reading the comments and they were saying that women who have had breast cancer and like have gotten surgery that would be something good for them. So like
Yeah.
when you look at it from that aspect, it's like there are women that are affected and may affect their self esteem in some ways. So to be able to have an alternative is actually pretty smart.
I actually like that perspective. I didn't even think of it
I love
in that
that.
way, but yeah, because you do feel like a woman. It's certain things about being
Yeah.
a woman that makes you feel more of a woman. And like you said, we probably wouldn't be spending our money on it, but it may work for someone else. So I like that perspective.
Mhm.
I didn't even think about that, J. Marie. That was
Yeah, me
amazing.
either.
Shout out to Kim K, man. She makes me proud. She is really making me proud. Okay, well, so Hannah, we have you on here. We're gonna bring Muhammad Bilal on as well, so that we can talk about this film that we kind of been dibbling dabbling talking about throughout today's show. So we've been talking about Perdido, which is a film based on Chicago black men mental health. We all were at the film screening on Saturday, so we were able to see the film. Hi, Muhammad.
How you doing?
Hi.
Hey,
Good. Muhammad Bilal is the director of the film. He's actually also one of the actors in the film. Hannah Hall also acted in the film as well. So Muhammad, just kicking it off, can you just give us a brief synopsis about what Perdido is about?
I'll give you guys a log line. Keep it real brief. Perdido is a film about an African American man who reluctantly seeks therapy when suppressed memories from his past are triggered by a tragic encounter with the police. So it really focuses on a black man who basically is having a mental breakdown and how he eventually has to turn to therapy to try to unpack it all to get control of his life again. So we really follow him on this journey. I try to use the cinematography to immerse the audience into the experience and the sound and everything else, so you kind of feel what he's feeling. But in a nutshell, we're really trying to use this film to encourage Black men to prioritize their mental health.
I know I was talking to Hannah earlier, and one of the questions that I was asking a lot of people were like, "What were your initial feelings after watching the film?" And she was like, I was a little triggered," and I was like, I've seen the film like 3 times, and I got triggered in different ways every time. Even talking to Jay Marie, who was there as well, she was saying like, there were some scenes that kind of touched home for her. So, do you feel like as a director that's giving you like a job well done? Do you feel like that's kind of like, well, I didn't want everybody to get triggered by it, or like what's your reaction to that?
Well, I mean, it sounds kind of twisted, but yeah, I'm happy about that because that's what I wanted. I wanted you guys to feel what Amir was feeling. So if you're watching it in an auditorium or a theater, you're feeling the loud music, like the heartbeat. It's kind of shaking and rocking you, and even the way he sees things, the way he's perceiving things. I wanted the audience to really feel that. So as disturbed as he is, I wanted you all to be on that journey with him and be immersed in that experience. So if you didn't feel triggered, I would feel like I didn't do my job with having you experience what someone who has a mental illness is experiencing. So
So
everything was intentional that you saw. I kind of wanted some points for you to feel what you felt without, spoiling the movie.
How would you say, because I know you worked closely with therapists on, just getting the authentic, bringing that authentic feel to the movie. How important was that for you to have work with actual therapists who I know one of them specifically dealt with PTSD and all of that. How important was that for you?
Well, for me, I wanted to make it really authentic because the last thing you want is for experts in that area to call it, that's crap. That wouldn't happen like that. So I had to draw a line. So I talked to a lot of therapists, but at the same time, I didn't want it to be a film that's just for therapists where the average person would look at it and say, what the hell are they talking about? So I wanted it to be real, but still accessible to people who don't have a PhD or, a master's degree in therapeutic counseling or mental health counseling. But Dr. Jacobs, in particular, though, I know you're speaking to, he watched it 4 times, he said. And him being this renowned therapist, he thought it was spot on. And I didn't even talk to him before.
Wow.
But to me, I felt like that was a job well done. That one of the I think he's a board chairman right now at NAMI National. He said it was really real, and he was someone who has gone through PTSD. So to me, it made me feel like we did a good job, me and the whole team, with showing what that's like and what that journey is like. So it felt good to make something authentic and something that someone who experienced some of the issues in the film said it was spot on.
Mm.
And also speaks to how good the actors are
Yes,
with
absolutely.
capturing some of this stuff.
The
What?
cast was really good.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
What
And them, they did that. I just said action.
what made you choose the, like, when we're talking about specifically PTSD and the mental, like a lot of, like you said, a lot of black men, a lot of the trauma that comes with the PTSD and just the, being diagnosed and all of that. What made you choose the aspect of surrounding it around police brutality versus, a lot of the times, especially here in Chicago, a lot of our kids who grow up in the inner city in the streets have PTSD, but not necessarily from, well, with police brutality, but also with the gang violence, with the, stuff that comes with being in the streets. What made you choose that aspect of police brutality as the way to, like, tell this story?
Well, so a lot of stuff I write about is stuff that affects me. That's what gets me inspired to write. So I wrote a lot about what I was going through in 2020 when we were all stuck in a house, seeing looping images of police brutality, right? And there's a lot of things that I've gone through in my life that I haven't necessarily dealt with. But I think watching police brutality, especially if you're a black person or person of color, it does something different to us because we're seeing people who look like us. And I think it threatens our sense of safety. So for me, it was like I already had my own mental health issues. And on top of that, I'm seeing this stuff constantly that's making a lot of stuff, making me re-experience a lot of stuff. So I picked that in particular because that's what was going on. And for me, like writing, filmmaking is kind of therapeutic for me, you know? So that's what I was feeling as a black man looking at all this stuff. So I wanted to kind of, put it in the script. That's what was influencing me. But then also, as I looked at the research, most Americans are experiencing PTSD vicariously. You don't have to be going through it. You can just be watching it and you're going through something. So I think, the gang violence is something I think is affecting people in Chicago and different parts of the country. But I felt during 2020, when I wrote the script, everybody was seeing the police brutality. You couldn't escape it. It was everywhere you looked. It was on the TV. And what we mostly was doing at that time, we was in the house watching TV. And you were seeing George Floyd and all these images of black bodies being brutalized around the country constantly.
Hey, Hannah, I had a question for you because I know, I think when we were talking on the red carpet, I think I asked you like what part of the script was it that kind of wanted you to be involved in the project?
Are you asking me that question? Now, I'm not. I think your
Yeah.
question was what did I want the audience to take away?
Okay, well, yeah. So, what part of the film was it after you like read the film, read the script? What part
That
of it was like the point where you were like, okay, I want to be a part of this?
So, I am very passionate and I'm an advocate about the importance of mental health, but I think more so my ministry is healing. Like, I'm very adamant about people seeking their healing, which essentially correlates with mental health. So just knowing that, I knew what type of effects this film would have, and it'll, essentially, I would think, Muhammad, your objective is so people can have awareness
Hmm.
and then take action to get the healing, because that's the process. When you go to a therapist and you choose to make this decision to go through therapy, that's healing. You're
Right.
going through a healing process. So for me, I just felt connected in that way more than anything. Not that I'm disassociating myself with mental illness, because it does correlate. But
Hmm.
healing, healing, healing. I think, people need to acknowledge that they need it, and then take action to get it.
Oh,
Well said.
girl, my sound is going in and out. Sorry, y'all. Also, I wanted to ask, within that healing, I do know, without telling the movie, towards the end of the movie, there are parts where it's like there is healing, but then we see more trauma, and then we see, you heal certain parts of yourself, and you feel like maybe I'm healed all over, but then you get into another situation all over again. So, what was it that made you in the movie that way? Instead of just, I feel like in a normal movie about mental health, there would be some type of like, we'll just end on a great
I'm
note.
healed. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be like, I'm healed, or I'm starting my healing process. The world is great. It's sunshine and roses. But this movie, we kind of got a little bit of both.
I
I,
think that's reality. But keep going. I'm sorry, Muhammad.
oh, was that for Hannah or me?
Yeah.
Both. Both of y'all can answer.
Oh,
Okay.
go ahead, Hannah.
Well,
You go first.
you sure me first? Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's reality. I think that's the most realistic perception that you can give people, is that it's good to hear people the good endings, the happy endings, but the reality is healing does take time. All of this stuff takes time. You think all your upbringing, all the experiences you had from your upbringing is going to be over from like a 2 month therapy session, 2 months of therapy sessions? No, that isn't realistic. So I think the fact that it's showing progress, that gives hope, but then it's also giving you that ambition to keep going, because there is more work to do. Do it until you really really have peace with yourself, and you see the effects of it, because even though he went and he started his healing process, he came home and his wife wasn't there. So there's still issues to be tackled. But go ahead, Muhammad, I'm gonna let you.
Don't spoil it, Hannah.
I was gonna say, I don't know if
Oh,
we
I'm
can say
sorry. Oh my God, I'm sorry, y'all. Look, spoiler
I think
alert,
we can bleep it
spoiler.
out. I think we can bleep it out. It's
Yeah,
okay.
bleep that out, please.
I'm sorry.
Well, for me, I actually changed the ending. I agree with you, Hannah, but I changed the ending for some of those reasons. But then also, I felt it was more valuable in the story to show that mental health is like it's a journey. It's like staying in shape with your muscles. You don't go to the gym, get your six pack and say I'm done. I'm never coming back. I'm gonna just start eating whatever I want. It's like you got to stay with your mental health. It's not just one and done. I fix one problem, I'm done. And I just feel like I wanted to show in the movie like there's always going to be some type of trigger. Mental health should, I mean, it will help you have the tools to deal with it. Okay, you've done the work in mental health. Now you got another trigger. So how are you going to handle this trigger? I felt that was more realistic to real life. But then I also say accountability. And we go through this with some people, with our parents, people we've been in relationships with, friends. Just because you went along and you got healed doesn't mean that you didn't do damage or cause trauma to someone. So just because you're good doesn't mean that they're good. And there's still work that needs to be done to repair that relationship. Like my father, there's things he did and didn't do. Now he's done his healing journey, but with me and some of my siblings, he still has work to do.
Mhm.
So just because he got his healing done doesn't mean that we're ready to forgive and let everything go. So I wanted to show that you're still accountable for things that you do while you was going through your mental health struggles. And then, there's the business. When you do a short, you kind of want to leave people hanging so they want more. So you can hopefully make it into a feature. So if you close it off where it's like, oh, that's done, so I would be dishonest if I didn't say that. It's the business. You want people to want to see more of the film so you can get the support to turn the short into a feature movie.
What would you say to people, specifically men, men of color who don't want to see therapists because majority of that field you have to speak to someone of Caucasian descent who may or may not understand. I've heard it plenty of times, like, I'm not going to therapy because they're not going to understand what I'm dealing with. What would you say to that? Because I think it hinders a lot of men from actually taking that step to get the healing that they need.
That's a very real thing. And I've gone to therapists who have not been of color.
Mhm.
And sometimes I find that they're more intrigued with my story than they want to help me. They're
Mm.
more fascinated with my resilience,
Mhm.
that you still went on to be successful and you went through this. You still talk to your mother after that happened. So it's like, are you helping me or am I like a case study or something like that? And then sometimes they just don't relate. So a lot of explaining has to happen. Whereas if you see somebody who has a similar background, and I tried to show this in the movie because, the doctor's Latino, Amir's
Mhm.
black, right? But still they're able to relate. But I feel like this is why I did the event. I wanted to kind of connect people with organizations that they could use any place in the world. Like we had Latino mental health organizations, we had Black mental health organizations. So to help people find that the therapist that they could relate to. So I was really intentional about doing that in the event we had. So I would encourage people to reach out to those organizations or even Google. There's even websites that I Googled where they will connect you with a mental therapist that's Black or Latino. So with the resources out there, they don't necessarily have to go to a white therapist. I'm sure there's some white therapists who would work well for them, but I do encourage people to get therapists who look like them. So I would encourage them to do that. Like you could do a Google search or you could search specific organizations that are people of color, therapists of color, if you will.
So I do know that unfortunately this film can't pop up on my Netflix or my Hulu just yet.
Not yet.
Not yet, but you are showing it at a couple of film festivals coming up.
Oh, we're gonna be at a lot of film festivals. So now it's time to get on the festival circuit. So I'll be announcing on Instagram and everywhere what festivals it'll be going to. But yeah, we're gonna get into some big festivals. So that really dictates where it goes from there, how it does on the festival circuit. But you guys were there. Y'all saw the audience. I think it's gonna do well.
Oh yeah, it was
Yes,
packed
it
out.
was amazing.
The people on the south side just don't stand up and clap for anything. Like you really got to do
Okay, we were outside. I
that.
enjoyed it. Yes,
Because I
Chicago.
was a little shocked. I'm like, oh, they standing up. Okay, let me get up too. Because you never know how it's going to be received. But yeah, we definitely going to get in some big festivals. So now is the time for the festival circuit, and I definitely will be announcing what festivals we'll be at. But we're definitely going to be in New York, LA, Chicago, Atlanta, all the big cities with the film.
Yes, and continue to let What's the Word know so we can keep supporting and letting our audience know where they can find the festivals when they come back to Chicago or the surrounding areas. Our boss commented and said this was a great conversation. So thank you, Muhammad and
Oh,
Hannah, for making it
Thank you.
great.
thank you for having me. Yeah.
Thank you. And Muhammad, let everybody know where they can find you on socials.
Oh yeah, so Bilal World Entertainment on IG. It's one word, Bilal World Entertainment, and then they could follow me at Real Muhammad Bilal, also on Instagram. So I'll be posting everything about upcoming festival screenings for this particular film, which they want to see. I mean, what did you all think about the film?
I watched it. I watched it like twice. So I had I enjoyed it. I was triggered by a couple things. Well, I don't want to so much say triggered, but it really just brought awareness to certain things that I've experienced. And it kind of just made me feel like, okay, I thought it was the situation we just talked about. Like I thought, I kind of healed from one situation, but then there's other parts of me that still needs that healing that I have to go through that process of healing on. So yeah, I currently like reconnected with my better health therapist. So yeah, it
Okay.
worked.
And if I can ask one more question to Hannah, how did it feel seeing yourself? I don't think I asked you that.
It's always difficult for me to watch myself. I like to do it in private just so I can, I'm very meticulous and we're our biggest critics. So there were times I kind of, had a moment. I don't want to see it right there. But, taking in the film as a whole, like I said to them earlier, it's such a powerful film. I appreciate the art of storytelling in every way, and whether something is going to trigger you or not, the fact that you have a reaction is important.
Hmm.
And like you said, Bree, it makes you kind of self-reflect on what you're going through and what you can do, and then also it can kind of comfort you too. So we all go through things. So just seeing someone else have a relatable experience, we just have more understanding of ourselves, and it can work either way, but in most times you expect it to work in a positive way, where you say, let me do something about it. If they can do something about it, let me do something about what I'm going through, and bring change to your life and healing to your life. So
I also think it helps you understand other people more as well. Because there
yeah.
was a guy when Jay Marie was sitting next to me. There was a guy next to me, and he was just bawling the
Really?
entire. Yes, and I think he was part of the cast because I was sitting down with the cast. He was crying the entire movie.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah, I
so
heard
I
that a
think
lot. I didn't see that because I was just in a different headspace with everything going on with the event. But I was hearing a lot of people in the audience was crying during the movie.
yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, I definitely think that it gives you the opportunity to self reflect, but I think it even showed so many different aspects of healing, the childhood healing, the adult healing, the healing that's going to come from the people that you were affected, that that person affected. I think it also gives you a good aspect of a better understanding of what people go through when they're dealing
Hmm.
with mental health, because a lot of the times men don't always tell us women how they feel. So to see the other side of it, and like what that's like for men to go through those things and not feel like they can tell anyone because they feel like they got to shoulder everything and keep everything in. I think it was an eye opener for me, as far as like just understanding that aspect of things from a man's point of view.
Hmm.
But also, even I'm raising two boys, so like understanding that eventually they will get to a place where, I hope that I can give them the tools to be able to express themselves. So even like, looking at it from a point of view of like before anything gets there, to help give them those tools before they, become a man and they feel like they can't say anything.
Right.
So yeah, it was a
Yeah,
great
'cause the conditioning, and I tried to show this in the film. To your point, it starts when you're really young, especially for
yeah.
boys. Like a lot of that starts, and they carry it into manhood. And even with regard to the relationship, I try to be as impartial as possible, but lack of communication is what can exacerbate a lot of situations. Everybody think they're doing the best thing in a relationship, but a lot of time we don't even know what's going on. Especially with men, we don't feel like we can tell you necessarily. So, and Hannah, you did a great job with that relationship. That's one of my favorite parts of the film, the
Thank you.
interaction between husband and wife.
yeah, you did a great job, girl.
Yes, he
Thank
did.
you. I appreciate that very much. I
Great
thank you.
job. Great job. Well, thank y'all again for being here with us today. Hopefully, we could bring y'all back when the next film comes out. Hannah, thank you. Oh, I'll let everybody know where they can find you as well.
My social media handle is Hannah Hall, my first and last name, HANNAHAHALL. My first name's spelled a little weird, so make sure y'all put that A in there at the end. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
For the longest, I thought her name was Hanaya.
And I was like, man, I'm about to say this girl name wrong.
But Bree, she let me call her Hanaya for like a whole month before she corrected me. I felt so bad.
But no, I'm not.
It's like she's like
Yeah, it's
Hanaya.
Hannah though. I guess the A is silent. We gonna blame my mama.
The A is
Mamas.
silent. I love it. I love it. Well, thank y'all again for being a part of the live stream today. We wish y'all the best. And like I said, send us everything y'all want us to help support. Anything that's going on in the city, surrounding the city, we would love to help support.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. See y'all later.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, J. Marie, girl. It's about that time.
Time to go. I can't sing, so I'm not even
So
gonna pretend like I
long,
know how to
farewell
sing.
to you, my friends. Ain't that the song? No,
I don't know.
that's not the song.
I don't know.
Oh. So yeah, before we get up out of here, J. Marie, what have you been listening to?
Um, I've been listening to a little bit of everything. I feel like I don't like no new music, so I'm not gonna sit here and say, "Oh, I've been listening to anything new," because I really haven't. I listen to Anne Marie all the time, so she feeds my toxic.
Between Anne Marie and Tory Lanez, I'm really like judging you. Like I'm getting this whole
It's
like
called shadow work. Like you know how like the film we talked about how we gotta view things and then like to like take
like
a step back. That's
do you see the correlation in the artists that you are like adamant about? I just want you to see it.
no, I don't. Mm-mm.
Tory Lanez and Anne Marie is crazy. I'm sorry. We need to have an intervention. We need to have a retreat and talk about these things because, girl,
Well, it's called shadow work. Okay, I do it. I do it in the music. Okay, because they help me express what I can't express. So there we go.
okay, I'm gonna let you have that one.
What you been listening to though?
Oh, something a little bit more calmer than that. I was listening to Offset Project. I was listening to City Girls. It was cool. I think I'm trying to like make it grow on me.
Yeah, I
Um,
couldn't. I took one listen and turned it off. I'm sorry. I love
yeah.
Crazy. Mm-mm.
And then we in this era where, like we get so much music, it's hard for you to like listen to. It's Cody talking about shots fired, no pun. Anyway, uh, yo, that's not
What is
funny.
life right now?
No, what is your playlist right
What is
now?
Cody? Look,
Yeah,
I listen to Janae too. Okay,
okay. Janae is a great balance, but Janae a little crazy too. But Janae,
but she the same thing. Like it just feeds my inner healing. Okay, it makes me not want to do the things that they talking about.
Janae is
See
literally one
how
of my
that
top.
works?
Yeah, okay, I will give you that. You healing? I'm gonna let
I'm
you heal.
healing.
I'll let you heal. Yeah, I think I've been listening to City Girls because I wanted to grow on me. Because I feel like I tend to listen to a lot of projects now, and I'll listen to it once or twice, and then only listen to like those two or
Mhm.
three songs that I feel like stick out to me when
That's
I
how
want to.
I am.
Yeah, but back in the day, we had to listen to projects over and over because they had like it, release dates were spaced out. We never had like 4 or 5 artists dropping on the same day. So I'm
That and like I just feel like back in the day, people used to make better all around projects.
mhm.
And musically, like just I don't know, I just feel like there was a flow that came with the albums that used to be put out. Now you go from shaking ass to healing in like one song.
Ain't nothing wrong
So
with it.
it is, it's true though. It's true though. Like you
Nothing wrong with that at all. But yeah, I feel it. Like you just go wherever your heart leads you that day, as long as it's not too much toxicity. But Jay Marie, we definitely gonna talk. Closing it out. What's the Buzz Radio? Make sure y'all submit your music. Watch the last episode tonight. Well, you can watch it after you get done watching this. Actually, on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. What's the word? TV. You can submit your music for free. We play your music. We review your music for free. Please send us clean versions. If you can, try your bestest to send us a clean version of the song. We go live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Shout out to Illinois Media School and Windy City Underground, our partners with What's the Buzz TV or What's the Buzz Radio, actually. Other than that, yeah, we gone. Y'all can find me BREE specific. J Marie, throw out your handles.
J Marie official. It's exactly how it's spelled on the screen. Official on all handles except for Twitter. But yeah.
And we will see y'all next week. We held it down this week.
We did girl power, We don't need a man to get this done,
We
okay?
don't need no men. No codependency here, okay?
Okay.
Huh. Tuh. All right, we go.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.